back to the weekly show. My name is Monica.
And I am Sarah.
And today we have a very special guest with us.
Governor Asa Hutchinson.
Well, thank you. And it is great to be on the weekly show at the University of Arkansas Community College in Batesville. I love what you're doing on campus, and to be able to spend some time with some great leaders and communicators there at the college. I'm delighted with this opportunity. Right now we have the legislative session going on, and we're continuing to develop and create jobs in Arkansas. So a lot's happening, but it's great to spend some time with the future of Arkansas, which are the students. So looking forward to the questions, and I'll do the best I can on the answers.
Well, thank you. To start off with, we'd just love to say thank you for being here with us, and we're really excited to do this. For your first questions, we are wondering, what are the benefits of a two-year college in your opinion?
Well, there's a lot. And first of all, my daughter, Sarah, she's a grown adult now, but she went to a community college, a two-year college in Fort Smith. It's now changed, but it was West Ark Community College. And so she saw the value in it because she wasn't exactly sure what she wanted to do, but she knew it was important to get an education. And so it allowed her to continue her education, but also she wanted to work. And so she worked alongside as a paralegal in the private sector at the same time she was getting her education. And that just illustrates the flexibility of the community college education. Secondly, it's affordable. And that's probably one of the most important factors. You get a good education, but you're not going to be in debt for the rest of your life. There's no reason that a young person cannot get their college experience without going into debt, but the community colleges is the best opportunity for that. Sure, you might have to work a little bit on side, but there's scholarships that are available. There's programs that are available to help those students. And then, and as I said, the flexibility, because whenever I was going to college, I wasn't sure what I wanted to be. And so I picked my major, accounting, because that was the first major listed in the alphabetical listing of majors. And so I got my degree, but it illustrates that not every young person has their future mapped out. And so there's a lot more flexibility whenever you get your foundation of your education in a two-year college. Then you can go on to a four-year degree, or you can go into the workforce. A lot of options there in terms of a two-year college education.
So why should a student stay in college, especially during these challenging times?
You know, that's really a good question, because there's a lot of emphasis on job skills, and we're focusing on that here in this state. And there's some that come out of high school that they know exactly that they want to go into the building trades, and they want to do construction work, or they want to go into plumbing. And so there's ways to get those skills through the job training programs and career programs that we have. But we also want to scale it so that you can move those skills in, and many of them say, well, I know I could go in and be a plumber now, but I'll be much more marketable if I can have a couple of years of community college, or even through some of the certificate programs at the two-year college level. And so it just expands your opportunities, even if you want to go strictly into the workforce. And, and it's hard to make those lifelong decisions as to, I don't want to go to college. I'm never going to go there. I'm just going to go and work. And so the community college gives you that option of continuing your education and working at the same time until you're really prepared to make the final judgment. And then I would say that, and I'll mention this again, but I'm a lifelong learner, and you never stop learning. And as long as you're expanding your mind, it's good. And that's what college teaches you. It's not just about getting the specific skill, but it is the relationships that you build. It's fine-tuning your own leadership potentials. It is developing your learning skills. And that's what college does, is it shapes your mind in a way that all through your life, you can learn more. You can continue to expand because you know how to do it, because you've done it through that college experience.
I know that you mentioned some of the benefits for you personally were going in and not really knowing exactly what you wanted to do, but knowing that you were going to go into accounting. Were there any leadership things and skills and such things like that that you benefited from by doing what you did when you joined your community college?
Well, yes. You know, I started my leadership experience in college, and it was because I was on the cleaning crew in the gymnasium. And I had 5 workers that reported to me. And so my janitorial experience gave me leadership experience. It taught me that you've got to encourage your workers, that you've got to make sure they have the supply chain that they need in terms of getting their work done. It taught me the importance of inspection. And so you can learn, whether it is in a society, whether it's in a group or a club, you can learn leadership skills in whatever environment you're in. Mine happened to be on a cleaning crew. Now, there were other opportunities too for leadership. I was, you know, I played sports, and so that's leadership in activities. I was in a society, a social organization. So many different opportunities to lead and determine where your weaknesses are, your strengths are, and that's a benefit from college as well.
I like that you mentioned that you could pull your leadership skills from really any experience that you had in college, because I feel like a lot of people don't really come in expecting to gain leadership skills, especially from things that aren't leadership based initially. So I really like that you mentioned that.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Thank you.
So do you think students should be more involved on campus in order to get more leadership skills?
I think, sure, some engagement on campus activities is important. Everybody has to measure your own time constraints and responsibilities, but you're missing something about the college experience if you're not engaged in some activities on the campus, whether it is this kind of a broadcast or whether it's some other activity or social organization or sports. That's part of the college experience. And as I said, it's a way that you can gain, you learn the benefit of working in a team and how to work in a team. And that's what the workforce is about these days. Nobody is isolated. Everybody works together, and you can learn that in the sports environment, the social environment, or the work environment.
I know for me and Sarah.
Yeah, I think we can both agree on that.
Yeah, that's exactly, as we are both in Student Government Association and ambassadors here at UACCB.
We definitely have had our plethora of event planning and doing things like this with the weekly show. And I feel like all of those small things, like the social aspect of everything, really builds those skills like you were mentioning. And I feel like it wouldn't be the same experience if I wouldn't have done those things.
We would have a completely different experience if we weren't doing this.
And I think employers look at that as well. It is good that you can put your academic experience, but also they like to see the experience you've had in working with others, because that is today's work environment. And sharing ideas, building on it, problem solving, and that's what you're doing.
It definitely helps put us in the public eye.
Yes, sir. How important do you feel the workforce education is to Arkansas and Independence County specifically?
Tremendously important. And, you know, we focused on this. I think when I became governor, if you were in high school, there were 55 high school campuses did not have access to a career learning center. Now that's been reduced down to 0. And so it might be 1 or 2, but we have dramatically increased the access of high school students to career learning centers. And part of that is combining it with our two-year college program so that they can get concurrent credit for both a career tech class at the high school level, but also they can start getting credits going through their college experience. And so that helps build, make a college education affordable for one thing, but also it gives you the opportunity to develop the skills that are needed in the workforce. And that's the third part of the equation, is making sure that industry is engaged in it so that we're building the experience and the education background that's you can use those skills in making a living in an industry or a business or in a healthcare environment. And so that's been our focus, very important. Now, you mentioned Independence County. I love Independence County, the history of it, the diversity of the economy there, from a great healthcare system to leading banks in the financial sector, to the retail, but also the tourism and the outdoor life. It is all right there in Independence County. Incredible place. Now you've got great highways that go there. You've got a great educational system. You've got 2 colleges there. And so Batesville, Independence County is ready to blossom, and developing the workforce is critical to that. We have recruited industry there into the Batesville area. Businesses have expanded. And one of the key ingredients is being able to demonstrate this is the workforce, and these are the training programs that are available for this industry. So it's critically important to our state and to Independence County.
I feel like Independence County definitely has benefited from it. I've noticed quite a few of our friends from high school have used those skills that they gained through the concurrent classes and things like that, and taken them out into real world life situations. So it's definitely benefited, and I'm sure that we'd all like to definitely thank you for that one.
We'll keep it up.
So you recently launched the Ready for Life program. What is the role for two-year institutes in that program?
Well, the Ready for Life program is a new model of combining industry, employers, as well as the education environment and our two-year colleges, along with the job skill training and certificates that go along with the progression of skills, and to put all of this into a searchable database. In other words, so that your credentials would be in our Ready for Life website, in our database. Your credentials are there that people can rely upon, and your experience. And then employers can go there and say, we need welders, or we need nurses, or we need technicians, or whatever other service they needed. And they can find the skills that are available there. The other part of it is that we have to quantify our skill set in this state. How many true, I mean, if we had an industry that came in and they needed machinists, how many machinists do we have that have been trained in Arkansas? Today, we would not have that information, but through Ready for Life, we'll be able to ascertain our inventory of skills so that we can showcase that to our prospective employers as well. It also can identify gaps that we don't have enough in a particular area, or we need to invest more in a particular skill set. And so that's, to me, the essence of Ready for Life. It should be very beneficial to the students there in Batesville.
Changing perspectives a little bit on our questions, we'd like to ask a few questions more towards like you personally and your role as a governor. So how did you prepare yourself for the role as a governor?
You prepare yourself through life experiences. And so I was probably one of the most prepared governor simply because I'd been in Congress. I had led large agency, Homeland Security and the DEA. I had experience in the private sector. I've worked 25 years as a lawyer, so I had a breadth of experience. Now, with all of that experience, nothing prepares you for a pandemic. Nobody told me that when I got elected governor, I'm going to have a global pandemic that is going to occupy all of the skills and resources we have to get through it. And so that tested us as a state. It tested my leadership. It tested everyone. And so whatever you do, whatever role in life, there's going to be the unexpected that comes along with it. And so you have to gain through life's experiences a breadth of knowledge and understanding so that you can manage the surprise in life. And I think that's what happened to me whenever I was dealing in a post 9/11 environment, fighting terrorism and protecting our country. I didn't know I could use those same skills of leadership, crisis management in a different environment, which was the COVID-19 pandemic. But it's the same skill set. It's just applied in a different way. And that's what teamwork is about. That's what leadership is about. But being governor is the best job in America. There's such a variety of responsibilities. I enjoy it. I'm blessed by it. I'm in my second term. In fact, I'll be term limited, so I've got a couple more years left. We have a lot more to do, and very proud of what we've been able to accomplish in the last 6 years.
I think this was definitely one of my personal favorite questions. I'd have to say, just for the fact that I am looking to go into politics and one day hopefully be president, but I feel like working my way through maybe a government position such as governor is so interesting to me. I just absolutely love all of that. And I feel like knowing that you can prepare yourself, but you can't at the same time kind of takes away some of that butterflies in my stomach going into the education that I am.
Well, what's hopefully is encouraging is that there's many different paths to political life, whether you're in Congress, whether you're in the legislature, whether you are governor. There's a lot of different ways to get there. And so if you look at the legislature today, you have pharmacists, you have doctors, you have farmers, you have teachers, you have homemakers. There's a lot of different paths that lead you into public service. The same thing I could say in Congress. In Congress, we had NFL football players, former NFL football players. We had civil rights leaders. We had protest leaders. And it's many different paths, and that's what's beautiful about our democracy. And so life is a little bit unpredictable. Just prepare yourself every step of the way, and also never get burned out. Politics is something that can burn you out very quickly because it is so consuming. And so pace yourself in life, because you have to have that balance of family and recreation and having fun, as well as the intensity of the political world and public service.
Thank you so much for that advice. I think it's just a beautiful thing with the diversity that you're mentioning. It's one of the things that appeals to me the most about the political field. So it really does make me feel a little bit easier going into that, knowing the things you've said.
Oh, and there's so many different ways to serve. It could be an elected position. It could be in a staff position that, you're actually running the world from a staff position, which you're helping to direct policy, you're helping to work with legislation. And thank goodness I've got an incredible staff with wonderful experiences that helps us to get those things done. But it also could be in an advocacy group that on the outside, it could be in the lobbying world. There's so many different avenues of impacting our community, our state, and our nation. And you just have to figure out the right path. And sometimes there'll be multiple paths, and you'll be in different paths at different times in your life.
So talking more about your personal self, and it's a while away, but do you have any future plans after being governor? And will you miss the position?
There's some things I'll miss about it, but I have no problem with 8 years as a term limit. I'm ready to take on new challenges in life, and those challenges might be in the private sector, which I would enjoy. It could be in running for another office or serving in some other capacity. So the key thing is, as long as I have breath and life, there's a mission to accomplish, and you never stop. And I'm excited about what the future holds. And so, I want to be able to shape the national debate that's important from an Arkansas perspective in the coming years. I want to make sure my party, the Republican Party, goes in the right direction. I want to be able to engage in that national debate, and we'll see where that leads.
I love the drive. It's definitely benefited a lot of people. Going on our last question, what is a piece of advice you would give to today's college students?
It would have to be read books, which is part of lifelong learning. But, if you can develop the habit, but also the joy of reading, and, some of my kids read science fiction books, which is not my cup of tea. I like biographies. I like history. I like real world experiences like that. So figure out what you enjoy, but you can read and learn through that. So right now, I'm reading Peter Baker's book on Jim Baker, former Secretary of Treasury, former Secretary of State. And I'm reading through the Reagan administration, the Bush administration, and a lot of things that I saw from a distance, but it gives you the real life experience as to what it was like. And I learned from that. And so whenever I see other people and the mistakes that they make, or the good decisions they make, or how they conduct themselves, or maybe they didn't have the right balance, that benefits me. It inspires me. And we need inspiration. And so books and reading gives me that inspiration. Where do you get your inspiration? And so that's my advice: is enjoy the moment of college experience, and develop habits that last a lifetime.
Definitely have to keep that one in mind.
Now we go on to the weekly show's favorite part, and always at the end that we always do. We are going to ask you a couple would you rather questions.
Would you like to go first?
Oh, you're drawing them. Go ahead.
Yes, our would you rather jar.
All right. Would you rather know the history of every object you touch, or be able to talk to animals?
I'd love to know the history of every object I touch, and whether it's a stone, and to know the history of that stone and the pressures that it's had through thousands of years of history. That's just remarkable. So history.
Which goes back to your love of history and books.
Exactly. And of course, they're not all stones, but that would be a good thing. What's the next one?
All right, our last one for you is, this is very interesting. Would you rather your only mode of transportation be a donkey or a giraffe?
Well, it's a giraffe, and a giraffe because I want to be able to see more. I want to be a little bit higher than being on a donkey, and probably a little bit more bumpy road. But yeah, I'd rather be on a giraffe. That sounds exciting.
I can understand that. I'm pretty short.
Those are the tough questions, but it's good to be with you today. Great show that you have, and I wish all of your audience well, and wish both of your time there at the community college to be very successful. So thank you for letting me be with you today.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you. Have a great day, and thank you, viewers, for watching our other episode of The Weekly Show.
We will see you next week.
Great job.
Bye. Thank